What's up guys, Sam here, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make college style t-shirts inside of Photoshop. This tutorial is perfect if you are a clothing brand owner looking to put a few of these t-shirts together yourself, or you're a complete newbie to Photoshop and you're just trying to work out how to put these t-shirts together. This tutorial is for you. Let's get started. So first things first guys, we're going to start by getting our type sorted, which is probably the most important part of this style of t-shirt. The font I'm using on this first design is called College Block, which is probably the most popular font to use on this style of design. And if you haven't noticed already, these designs aren't going to be traditional college designs, but more designs using the basic principle of this college style, but applied to my own design taste, which is much more fun and original. And that is why you see me writing the word venomous, because I want to design a scorpion style college t-shirt. Once you've got your main text sorted, head over to the effects tab and select stroke. Now if you didn't know, you can actually apply two strokes at the same time by clicking the plus icon at the end of the stroke tab. Now we want to make a black stroke and a white stroke. Make sure the white stroke is last and find a balance between the two. Feel free to copy my settings if you're a bit lost. Now we're going to do something which is typically frowned upon when it comes to typography, and that is stretching the font. Press Ctrl T on your keyboard and hold Shift to vertically stretch the font. Next, right click on the font and select Warp, and then select Arch from the Warp drop down menu. Now we can click and drag the little white square you see at the top until we find the perfect arch for our type. For this particular style of font, I personally think you can get away with stretching it a bit. It's not something I would normally recommend doing, but especially for long words, we can give it a more condensed look. Now I'm going to add some more text, which I want to lay on top of the word venomous using a script font. The font I've chosen for scorpions is a script font called Surfers South, which is available on Envato Elements. So I essentially want to find a good position where scorpions can sit on top of venomous and not be too distracting. To give your script fonts a more unique look, duplicate the layer so you have a backup and convert one of them to a smart object. Select the font using Ctrl T on your keyboard and right click to select Warp. Now we can manipulate the scorpion text to fit better with the word venomous and just give it a bit more of a unique script look. I'll probably play around with it a bit more later, but the idea is there. I've chosen this picture of a scorpion to use in the artwork, which is also from Envato Elements, and to start with we're going to make sure that the layer is rasterized. This will give us the option to remove the background using Photoshop's AI, which will now appear under the quick actions panel on the right or in the toolbar in the middle. As you can see, it doesn't do a bad job, but it does miss a few places. For the record, I'm still not convinced this is the best option for cutting stuff out, especially for anything that would be printed large, like a t-shirt. I'd still prefer to manually use a brush or the pen tool for client work, so I can be 100% sure it's perfect. But for now, it's a great quick option, but we will just need to clean it up a bit more. When you use the remove background tool, it does so by using a layer mask, which is a non-destructive way of removing the background. That means that when we have the layer mask selected, we can use a black brush to continue to remove parts of the image, or a white brush to bring parts back. By the way, I totally didn't realise while recording this that my glimpse panel stays open for the entire tutorial, so you're just going to have to ignore that. I'm such a professional. Anyways, once we've finished cleaning up the scorpion, we're going to apply some effects from the filter gallery. To apply the effects, we're going to head up to filter and filter gallery. Now we're going to apply two effects. We're going to apply a stamp effect located under the sketch section of the filter gallery, and grain, which is located in the texture folder. And now we're just going to play around with the settings until we find something we like. As you're going to see, it takes me a little while to decide what kind of look I'm going for, and I keep going back into filter gallery and adjusting the settings and then having a look, which is completely normal for me. I'm pretty indecisive, but just experiment guys and see what cool things you can come up with. So eventually I do actually come to a decision, and I decide to apply a stroke to the scorpion just to give it a bit of extra definition. So we're applying the stroke the same way we did earlier in the tutorial. The only changes we're making is that we're doing one white stroke and we're changing the position to the inside, which helps to keep some of the edges a bit sharper. Now I'm bringing in a 3D rose I found on Envato Elements, and my idea is that I want the scorpion to kind of be holding this rose. So I'm just going to position it accordingly, and I'm also going to adjust the position and the size of the scorpion and the rose. Since the text really takes up most of the space on these designs, it's normally quite large, and then the badge or the design is quite small. Anyways, I'm happy with the rough positioning now, so I'm just going to apply a layer mask to the rose so I can then knock out some parts of it and make it look like the scorpion's actually holding it. Just an idea, but if you wanted a little bit more of a realistic look to this scorpion and rose, then you could avoid doing the stamp effect until last and do this bit while the images are kind of raw, and apply some shadows and things to the rose where the pincers would fall. That was just a thought that crossed my mind while watching this back. Anyway, I'm going to speed this bit up because we're essentially doing exactly the same thing to the rose as we did to the scorpion. We're going to apply a stamp and grain effect, and then we're going to apply a stroke. Now I'm going to add in some teardrops in between that little gap between the text and the scorpion. These you can find all over the internet if you just Google teardrop shapes. I've got a massive library of shapes like this that I can just chuck into designs that I've pre-made and then saved, so I can just chuck them in whenever I feel like it and I don't have to waste time remaking them. Next up, I'm going to select the scorpion and the rose together and stick them in their own group and rename it. And that way I can now add a color overlay to the entire group. Select multiply from the blend modes because we only want the color overlay to affect the white, and then choose whatever color you want. I'm going to go with a subtle gray. Now I'm going to add in a date either side of the scorpion, which is pretty essential for this style of t-shirt. You can split the date up into two like I'm doing, or put EST for established on one side and the date on the other. Either's fine. I want to make the 20 an outline, so I'm going to remove the fill and then add a stroke. The same way we've added all the other strokes, and then I'm going to duplicate the 20 and place it on the other side. I'm now dragging in some ruler lines just to double check that things are lined up properly, which is something I like to do in all my designs. And I'm also going to add in some more text. I'm going to write the word authentic, which is a typical word you see on these kind of t-shirts. The font I want to use for this is called Bartho Fern. I think that's how you say it. It's a script font from Envato Elements. I'm probably butchering the name, but the cool thing about this font is that you can add really cool flicky tails to the end of words and stuff using the glimpse window. But basically what you do is highlight the letter that you want to change, then go into the glimpse menu and then select the alternative. Weirdly, on a side note, my Photoshop used to automatically bring up the glimpse window sort of below the word when you would highlight a certain letter and give you the alternatives. It doesn't do that now since it's updated. I'm not sure what to do to get it back, but if anyone knows, put it in the comments please, because I really want it back. It's so much easier than having the glimpse window open on the side. So before we add some texture, I'm just quickly making a few adjustments to the scorpion's text, and then I'm going to change the authentic text to green and just move stuff about till it looks a little bit better. The layout doesn't have to be perfect right away, guys. What I would normally do for clients is mock it up and have a look for a little while, and then make some adjustments and mock it up again so I can actually see it on a t-shirt, because designs look different when they're actually mocked up as opposed to just a square in Photoshop. Just always keep in mind what you're actually designing for, whatever garment it is, and actually mock it up and double check that it actually looks right on that garment. Last but not least, we're going to apply some vintage texture to the design by highlighting every layer apart from the background and putting it in its own group, and then applying a layer mask to that group. Now select your chosen vintage texture brush. I have some free ones available to download in the description below, as well as a tutorial on how to use them properly on my channel. So check that out, guys. Essentially what we're going to do is make sure the brush is on black and go a bit mad with the texture, make sure it covers everything, and then reverse the brush, so make it white, and then that will remove some of it, so we end up with a good balance of overall texture everywhere. So that's this design basically done now, guys. Let's move on to design 2. So we're going to start design 2 in a similar way to design 1, but we're going to use a different font called Camp Hound, which is from Envato Elements again. And we're going to do this for a white t-shirt instead, so the background is obviously white. We can see immediately with this font that the kerning is off. The T and the A, there's a massive space between them. And for those of you who don't know, the kerning is the space in between each letter. And you can adjust this by selecting in between each letter, holding Alt and using the arrow keys on your keyboard to bring them closer or further away from each other. We're going to add 2 strokes, exactly the same as last time, except we're going to reverse the colours, so white will be on the inside and black will be on the outside. And then we're going to select the entire text again, click warp just like last time, but instead of choosing arch, we're going to choose bulge instead. And we're just going to reverse the bulge and stretch the text vertically just like last time. It may be difficult to see if you're on a phone, but on my large monitor the kerning is still not quite right, especially now we've added the 2 strokes. So I'm just using the VA option on the left on the text properties menu, and using this you can adjust the increments of the kerning and essentially make the overall spacing perfect. It's important to remember though that Photoshop isn't that great at text. You have a lot more control in Illustrator, and then you can easily copy over what you do in Illustrator into Photoshop. That is a slightly better option. But if you only have Photoshop, you're just used to using Photoshop, then doing it like this is perfectly fine as well. If you have a Photoshop subscription, then you'll have access to Adobe Express, which was previously called Spark. And this is actually a really great place to find icons, vector shapes and things of that nature. And what we're going to do here is find an assortment of shapes and icons and bring them into Photoshop and build a badge for the college t-shirt. So I'm going to go up to the plus icon on the top left and click custom size graphic. And I'm going to make quite a large canvas size since we are planning to bring these back into a large canvas on Photoshop. 4000 by 4000 should do it. And then we are presented with our canvas. Over on the left you'll see the word shapes, click that, and this is where we can find all the icons we're going to use to build our college badge. There's actually a really great selection of icons here, so it's really worth taking advantage of if you have an Adobe Cloud subscription. As you can see, I've just typed in badge and there's loads of options already. And if we type in something like skulls, you can see again just a really great selection of icons. So I've already found and downloaded all the icons I want to use for my project, but when you're ready, just double click on whatever icon you want and it will appear on your canvas, and you can then resize it to whatever size you want and go up to the right and change the color. When you're ready to download, just go up to the top right and click download and then select PNG transparent background, and then we can open these icons up in Photoshop. So like an idiot, I've downloaded all my icons in white, so I have to add a quick color overlay so I can see them before I start putting my badge together. I'm doing like a Deaf University theme, so I've chosen a Grim Reaper scythe for part of the badge, and I'm going to duplicate it and flip it horizontally and kind of try and build a badge out of it. Adobe Express is a great tool, but it does lack functionality, so we can really get a lot more creative by importing these shapes into Photoshop for editing. Now I'm just going to bring in the badge shape I found and find a good position for it. I want to add a stroke to both the scythes, so I'm going to stick them both in a group and then apply stroke to the group, which is a much easier way of doing things than doing it both separately. So I'm just adding an outer white stroke so the scythes stand out a little bit. I've decided I want to get rid of the inner part of that badge, just so you can see the scythes a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is quickly name that layer because I forgot, and then add a layer mask. Now I can use a black brush to quickly remove it, and you can see now that the badge is starting to take shape. Now I'm going to bring in all the other shapes I've downloaded, as well as add in some extra text, all self-explanatory really, and then finishing off with some texture just like the previous design. When you're ready to send this to print and you want to remove all the white strokes, just place everything into a group, double click the group, select blending options and go down to the blend if slider. Slide the white arrow down of the top slider and this will remove all the white from the design. Thanks so much guys for checking out the video, I really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe if you're new and follow me on Instagram for more updates, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.